will not sign NPT. India will not sign NPT, but US will cooperate with India in the nuclear for the peaceful nuclear program, not in the weapon program. In the peaceful nuclear program, US will cooperate with India in the peaceful nuclear program, or it is called a civilian nuclear program, and not in the weapon program. So it is very clear, not in the weapon program. Okay. So when the US and India is saying that the US will cooperate with India in the civilian nuclear program and not in the weapon program, that itself is telling that India has a weapon program and the US will not cooperate. And it was also said that the Indian nuclear facility, the nuclear reactors will be divided into civilian program and the weapon facilities. Okay. So it was also said that India will divide the nuclear facilities into one, civilian facilities, and number two, weapon facilities. So, and the US cooperation will be with the civilian facilities, not with the weapon facilities. And it was also said that IAEA will inspect the civilian facilities. IAEA will inspect the civilian facilities, not the weapon facilities. So IAEA will also come into picture, because till now IAEA was not coming because India was not a signatory of NPT. Now IAEA will come and inspect only the civilian facilities. IAEA will not inspect the weapon facilities. Indo-US nuclear deal of 2005. But the nitty-gritty is how exactly we will implement it. Subsequently we will have to make an agreement. So this 2005 July 18 agreement, July 18 2005 agreement is an intention, we can say, to sign a final Indo-US nuclear deal or nuclear agreement. Okay, the deal was, we call it Indo-US nuclear deal of 2005. The deal was that we will have to work out, there are many hurdles, many roadblocks are there, we have to overcome one by one. But in July 18, 2005, both Manmohan Singh and George Bush agreed that India and US will cooperate between each other in the civilian nuclear field, not in the weapon field. India will divide our nuclear facilities in the civilian and the weapon program, and IAEA will inspect the civilian program, not the weapon program. So both agreed to work out for a final Indo-US nuclear agreement. So we agreed, or rather we have decided that we will sign a final one, but it has many hurdles or many steps to be taken. So July 2005 agreement was for that. We have not signed the final agreement, it is only the intention to sign. Manmohan Singh came back, it was a shock to the rest of the world, it was a shock to the Indian opposition, it was a shock to Hindu newspaper, everybody was shocked, because nobody expected Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh, to come back with such an agreement, which is a watershed in India's history. Till that point, we all thought that the US will never agree for such an agreement. US will always insist on India signing NPT, and India will have to give up our nuclear weapon. That was the position by the US till that point. Now the US is saying no need to sign NPT, no need to give up the weapons, but we are signing an agreement for civilian nuclear cooperation. We will cooperate with you in the rest of the nuclear field, right from mining, right from the fuel, till the waste disposal, everywhere we will cooperate except in the weapon program. That is what the US has said, and it was a shock. And people started asking Manmohan Singh, "Aap bata do, you please tell, what did you secretly agree and come back? तुमने कुछ तो बोला होगा, कुछ तो agree किया होगा, you might have agreed on something which you are not disclosing right now." Dr. Manmohan Singh kept on saying, मैंने कुछ नहीं किया, I did not do anything. I did not secretly agree on anything. But it was the rest of India did not believe him literally, and he had to keep on pleading and saying that, dekho, I did not do anything wrong, I got a wonderful deal, please appreciate me, rather than asking me what did you surrender and come back. Actually, he did not surrender anything, but that was the kind. Even the supporters of the government, the left parties, they started questioning. Even the left party said something you might have agreed. Even the left parties who were critically supporting the government, 58 MPs were there. The left had 58 MPs, and it was very critical for Manmohan Singh to survive, and they were asking the same question, what did you surrender, what did you agree? But he said, I have not surrendered anything, I have not agreed on anything, you please believe me, I am telling the truth. That is what Dr. Manmohan Singh kept on saying. Meantime, we had to work out for the nitty-gritties. So, in March 2006, George W. Bush visited India. He had a state visit to India. We gave equally good welcome, and George Bush has literally said it. He has not seen such a grand welcome anywhere else in the world, because our official welcome for a foreign dignitary is really good. In the forecourts of the Rashtrapati Bhavan with our mounted corps, the Gadi, Goda, everything, the horses, the horse battalion. So that is something which is the mounted battalion is something very, very unique. And George Bush was really thrilled by his visit. And during this visit, it was decided that India has 22 reactors in India at that time, and stiff negotiation took place. And it was decided that 16 will be civilian, 14 will be civilian, 14 reactors will be civilian, and 8 will be weapon reactors. So 14 reactors will be exposed or will be open for IAEA inspection, and the rest 8 will be, 14 will be for civilian purpose. Okay, 14 will be for civilian purpose, and 8 will be for weapon program. Even that was agreed. Meantime, what are the steps to be taken? See, once we agreed in 2005, July 18th, after the state dinner, we agreed that India and US will cooperate. Now, what are required? There are many steps required. What are the steps required? Number one, there was already a domestic law in US to change the domestic law to permit the US President to sign a nuclear deal with India. See, what happened was that, just to give a background story of this, in 1974 we conducted the test. In 1978, the US Congress passed a law saying that the US President, any future US President should not sign any agreement, any nuclear agreement with India until India signs NPT, or until you take the permission from the Congress. Okay. So, a condition, a law was passed in the US because they were so angry about India in 1970s. They passed a law in the parliament saying that any future US presidents cannot sign any nuclear deal with India until India give up the weapons and sign NPT. So, there is a condition. So, George Bush cannot sign an agreement with India. That is why I said 2005 is only an intention to sign an agreement, because many steps are to be taken. So, that law has to be changed. Then number two, a proper agreement, a nuclear agreement to be worked out. Okay. A proper nuclear agreement should be worked out with all the nitty-gritties, fine prints. Then after doing this, we need to sign, India should sign an agreement with India. IAEA agreement should be there, so that IAEA can inspect only the civilian facilities. India IAEA agreement to inspect civilian facilities, because the agreement, Indo-US agreement says only the civilian facilities will be inspected by IAEA, And number 4, there is a is called NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group. NSG should give exemption to USA for cooperating with India. NSG should give exemption to USA for cooperating with India. I will just come to that, and then once it is ready, all these things are done, then both the houses of US, Congress should agree. That is American rule, because first the parliament should agree, then only the president can sign, then the government can sign. Then India and US leaders can sign the deal. So many conditions, many steps are to be taken. So the first step required, I will come, and in this NSG, one point let me talk about NSG, otherwise you will forget. So NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group. Okay, what is NSG? Okay, NSG should give exemption to US for cooperating with India. See, what happened was that when India conducted the test in 1974, आप सोचो सब उसी से linked है, because that was a shock to the US in 1974 when we conducted the test, and then the US realized that even NPT is not sufficient, because NPT is already in force, but India did not join NPT. Without joining NPT, we conducted the test. We took the help from the Americans and the Western world, and we conducted the test. So the US created a club called Nuclear Supplier Group. Okay, the US created a club called Nuclear Supplier Group, and the US invited all the countries having technology, fuel, etc., and told that you join the club. And what is the activity of the club? It's a club. It is not an agreement. NSG is not an agreement, it is a club. The activity of the club is, number 1, no deal with India, or you cannot write only India, say that, or any other country who not signed NPT. So no cooperation with no nuclear cooperation with any country not signed NPT. So don't cooperate with them, because India got the benefit of the cooperation from these countries. So the Nuclear Supplier Group was created in 1975 by the US, and very clearly mentioned no cooperation in the nuclear field if that country has not signed NPT. So NSG is very clear, there cannot be any nuclear cooperation with India, Pakistan, Israel, now whichever countries are not signed or not outside the NPT system. So NSG's permission should be there, because US is saying now they will cooperate. So now the US will have to go to the same club which they created against India and tell that yes, let us have a cooperation with India. So that is the provision. Anyway, so coming to one by one, so first thing is they have to change the domestic law. So the US rule is, American president is not sitting in the Congress, he has no connection, he has to request some of his friends in the Congress to make a law. Okay, so the US, or rather the US president approached his friends in the US Congress to make a law so that he can deal with India. The first requirement is change in the domestic law, and he approached, one second. So he approached one of his friends, the senator called Henry J. Hyde. Henry J. Hyde, a US senator at that time. He approached him, or rather he introduced a bill in the US Congress to give exemption to the US president to have a civilian nuclear deal. Okay. So, the NSG members, see when NSG was created, now there are 47 members in the NSG, including US, China, USSR, everybody, whoever is having either nuclear technology or nuclear fuel, nuclear material in their soil, including the nuclear uranium, thorium, etc. So, 47 members are there in the NSG, it is a club, and these club members will not cooperate with India, because that is the condition, that is what they were asked to do. So, I mean Henry J. Hyde was introduced, or Henry J. Hyde introduced a bill in the US Congress to asking the US President, an exemption to the US President to deal with India, to deal with a nuclear deal with India, even if India has not signed NPT. So, that is the first requirement, then, because that domestic law has to be changed. Then only the US President can sign an agreement with India. So, the Henry J. Hyde Act was moved, but when Henry J. Hyde moved this act, he added 2 more points into that act, into that bill, which was not discussed between Manmohan Singh and George Bush. See, that is where the problem began in Indo-US relations, or Indo-US nuclear deal. When Henry J. Hyde, I am repeating, when Henry J. Hyde introduced the bill in the Senate, he added 2 more extra points. The US is a bicameral legislation, US Senate and the House of Representatives. So, the Senate member introduced the bill in Senate, and along with that he added 2 more points. Now, that is where the problem began. So, 2 extra points, okay, 2 extra points added by Henry J. Hyde. One, it says if India conducts a test in future, the US should withdraw from the deal. So, because India has never said that we will not conduct a test again, but India has already declared a unilateral moratorium on the test. So, Henry J. Hyde added 1 extra point: if the US conducts a test in future, if India conducts a test in future, the US should withdraw from the deal. And the number 2 condition which was put, which was again not discussed between Dr. Manmohan Singh and George Bush, was that the reprocessing technology, see, this is a technology for reprocessing the spent fuel, the fuel after when the fuel is burned, and what is remaining in the reactor is called the spent fuel, and from the spent fuel you can reprocess the fuel and take out some useful items like plutonium. The reprocess, and this plutonium will be used in the weapons later on. So, the reprocessing technology should not be given to India. Reprocessing technology should not be given to India. Why they signed this deal with India, I will talk separately. अभी तो रुको ना यार, पहले सुनो तो सही, तुम लोग सुनने नहीं है, सवाल ही पूछना है. Okay, so please listen to this carefully. Henry J. Hyde added 2 extra points which were not discussed between, and that was not in the control of George Bush definitely. He said if India conducts a test in future, US should withdraw from the deal, and reprocessing technology should not be given to India. When this was passed, hell broke out in India. The opposition said, देखो यही तो मैं बोल रहा था, this is what exactly we were telling the US, there is some secret thing which Manmohan Singh did not say. But actually this was not a plan, or it was not a design by Manmohan Singh or George Bush. It is the way the American political system works. The Senate and the Congress will always, or rather the House of Representatives will always try to do something because they are independent. They added these 2 points. So, the entire opposition, the BJP, the left parties, everybody said that dekho, this is what we said, this deal is not good, you should immediately cancel. Dr. Manmohan Singh said, aisa nahi hai. We will, and he rang up George Bush immediately the same night when it was passed in the US Congress. He rang up the President of US. George Bush said only one thing: yes, I fully accept, this is an addition now, it's a roadblock, we will find a way, please don't worry, it's a domestic law, this is a domestic law in US, you please don't worry, I will do something, let us work the final agreement. So now I am permitted to deal with you. So this domestic law has been changed. So Henry J. Hyde Act gave permission to George Bush to negotiate with India properly, and this negotiation, the final agreement between India and the US, this is what is called 123 agreement. The nuclear agreement between India and the US is known as 123 agreement because it is under section 123 of the Nuclear Act 1954 of the USA, where it talks about how the US can cooperate with other countries. So this nuclear deal between India and US is also known as the 123 agreement because section 123 of the Nuclear Act of 1954 of US. Okay, AC off kar do. So section, that is why it is called 123 agreement. Okay, so under this agreement we agreed what all will be, what is the agreement or what all we can do, that is what agreed the provision, and this 123 agreement agreed that, or 123 agreement said that first of all this Indo-US nuclear, the civilian nuclear deal is for 40 years. Some of the provisions. Now this is signed after, or rather this agreement was negotiated after the Henry J. Hyde Act. Henry J. Hyde Act very clearly said that if US withdraw, or if India conducts a test, the US should withdraw. So the first point is for 40 years. Number two, the deal can be extended for 10 years if both agree, can be extended for 10 more years if both agree, can be extended for 10 more years. Number three, it said that the US will help India in developing a strategic fuel reserve. Very interesting thing. The US will help India in developing a strategic fuel reserve in case there is a disruption in the fuel supply for India. In case of a disruption in fuel supply. See, now this 123 agreement, which was subsequently agreed or rather negotiated after the Henry J. Hyde Act, every provision, see, this was this was this 123 agreement. So the Henry J. Hyde Act was passed in I think December 2006. It was in December 2006. Then now the 123 agreement was decided or rather agreed, and 123 agreement, the draft was ready by July 2007. July 2007, the draft agreement was ready, and one provision is very clear. The first is 40 years, the agreement between India and US is 40 years, it can be extended for 10 more years. Then we are saying the US will help India in developing a strategic fuel reserve in case of a disruption in the supply. Okay, why? Because now we are presuming that if India conducts a test in future, the US will have to withdraw, but when they withdraw also, Indian reactors should not be affected because India needs fuel from outside because we don't have enough uranium in India. So India was very keen to import uranium. So we wanted to make it very clear that if India has to conduct a test, or if India conducts a test and the US has to withdraw from the deal, still the Indian reactors should not be stopped because of lack of fuel. So we were told that, or rather it was agreed that the US will help India in developing a strategic fuel reserve in case of a disruption. It also wrote, if required, the US will call a meeting of friendly countries Okay, US will call a meeting of friendly countries like France, it is mentioned, so that the fuel supply will not be affected. If the US will call a meeting of friendly countries like France, UK, it is clearly mentioned in the agreement, like France, UK, etc., so that the fuel supply is not disturbed. So that the fuel supply is not disturbed. See, just see what is mentioned. Now, if the US has to withdraw and if they stop supplying the fuel because of the Henry J. Hyde Act, US will help India, will call a meeting of the friendly countries so that the fuel supply to India will not be stopped. Then it also said that for the cancellation or the withdrawal of the agreement, there should be a multi-layered approach for the termination of cooperation. It was further said in the 123 agreement, it was said that there should be a multi-layered approach for the termination of the agreement. There should be a multi-layered approach for the termination of the agreement. Now, it was said that, and the ground for termination, now we are presuming that India will conduct a test and the US will have to withdraw because Henry J. Hyde Act. See, once a law is passed, it is not that easy to change the law and all, especially in US. It is very difficult to first of all change the 1978 law. Now there are two conditions. So we did not want that two conditions, but it was there, it came, now we have to deal with that. So we cannot outrightly reject that law. So we have to circumvent that law. So it is a multi-layered approach for termination of the agreement. Now the reason for termination should be, the reason for termination. See, we can terminate before 40 years, the reason for termination should be one, if India conducted test or if both the countries conducted test or if either country conducted test, like this, either country conducted test. That means if US conducts a test, even India can say I am walking out, aapne aise kaise kar diya, main ja raha hu. Obviously we will not be doing it, but it is mentioned that if either country conducts a test, okay, that means if US conducts a test, India can also say if either country conducts a test. Number two, if India diverts the fuel, very important, if India divert the fuel for civilian purpose, okay, which was purchased, which is imported from outside for weapon program. Please see, the IAEA will be inspecting and IAEA wants to keep a track of the fuel. If the fuel is diverted, that is a violation of the NPT norms. So even though India has not signed in this agreement, if the fuel is imported for in a civilian purpose and if India divert the fuel for weapon program, the US can withdraw or if India conducts a test. So two conditions were put. If the multi-layered approach for the termination of the agreement, the reason for termination can be two. One, that is if either country conducts a test or if India divert the fuel for civilian, which is for the civilian purpose, for the weapon program. These are the two reasons for which the US can ask for a termination. But इसमें further conditions लगा दिया. It said that this the proof for test or diversion should be an IAEA report, not any hearsay, not Pakistan saying मैंने सुना था, I heard a sound, nuclear test होगा, नहीं कुछ नहीं. Whoever says it is immaterial, if IAEA gives a report to the UN Security Council, then only that will be treated as a proof. And it takes some time. ऐसा नहीं कि today you conduct the test and tomorrow IAEA report will come. IAEA will inspect, deliberations will be there. Finally, it may take a couple of months before IAEA will give the report. That is number one. Then after the report, the both sides should give a 1 year notice with reason. Okay. Now the agreement says both whoever wants to terminate should give a 1 year notice with reason for termination. 1 year notice, not 1 or 2 days. Please remember, we conducted the test in 1998 May, we conducted the test. Within 2 years, Bill Clinton visited India. We improved the relation, we managed it. See, when there was no agreement with the US at that time, now we have an agreement also, at 1 year notice for termination should be there. Then also we did not stop. One more point we added. We said that the, before, if the US wants to withdraw, okay, if the US wants to withdraw, then the US can withdraw after giving compensation to India. So, imagine India conducted a test, the US is withdrawing. First IAEA reported saying that yes, India conducted a test, then 1 year notice, negotiation took place, but end of that, now we are saying, okay, theek hai, main ja raha hu, lekin US will have to pay compensation to India considering the fair market principles at that time. The fair market principles at that time. फिर कौन जाएगा? You have to withdraw, and if you withdraw, they have to pay compensation. So who will withdraw? That means, this 1, 2, 3 agreement, the provisions are such that it is next to impossible for the US to withdraw. The US agreed on all these things. Just see, the conditions are very, very stringent. So a multi-layered approach for termination. Reason for termination should be either country conducting a test or India diverting the fuel. But that proof should be IAEA report. 1 year written notice should be there with reason, and then also if the US wants to withdraw, then US should give compensation to India considering the fair market principles at that time. So we have made it a point that, see, Henry J. Hyde said that you have to withdraw. The US said that okay, we will, because that is the law now in the US. But we put such condition that it will make almost impossible for the US to withdraw just like that. And now the question asked is, with this 1, 2, 3 agreement, are we losing our right to conduct a test? That is what the opposition said at that time. The BJP said at that time. The left party said at that time. But the truth is, no. We can still conduct a test. But yes, if you conduct a test for no reason, the US has a right to withdraw. See, if you have a right to conduct a test, the US also has a right to withdraw. But even that withdrawal is not that easy. Multi-layered approach. I mean, so many conditions were put. So in July 2007, this 1, 2, 3 agreement was ready. Okay, please note very carefully. I am not saying 1, 2, 3 agreement was signed. In July 2007, 1, 2, 3 agreement was ready. Now we have to, once we agree, both sides which was ready, now the political leaders should agree. In India, when the moment this 1, 2, 3 agreement came, and after the Henry J. Hyde Act itself, the left parties opposed because they are critical to the government. And when the 1, 2, 3 agreement came, the left parties were not willing to accept this. They said this is not sufficient. The government even created a steering committee or a high level steering committee between the government and the left parties. The government always said that, it included Dr. Pranab Mukherjee at that time, Kapil Sibal, all top Congress leaders, and the left was supported by our Prakash Karat and company. The government always insisted that let us talk the provisions of the 1, 2, 3 agreement which we have agreed. I mean, we have draft agreement. But left parties always insisted, let us talk Henry J. Hyde Act. Henry J. Hyde Act. You talk Henry J. Hyde Act. But the Congress leaders said that, why should you discuss that law? That is an American law. It is not the agreement between India and the US. But there was no agreement, and left parties were very adamant, very arrogant at that time. They could have easily, see, this is not a big thing here. I mean, they should have been disagreeing on something bigger things. But they disagreed on this Henry J. Hyde Act and this. 1 year passed, July 2007 to July 2008. No progress, and Indo-US nuclear deal was in the back burner. In July 2008, almost 1 year passed when India did not take a decision. George W. Bush rang up Manmohan Singh again, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and asked, what happened to our 1, 2, 3? Are we signing? Are you planning? my term is getting over. George Bush was completing his second term in 2008 and then President Obama came to power, you remember, and Obama came to power in 2008. So, George W. Bush knew that at that time, by July it was very clear, he was very unpopular in US. Republicans were very unpopular in US at that time and they were almost sure that they are losing power. So, George W. Bush rang up Dr. Manmohan Singh and told, Bhai, if you want this deal, please act fast, because you have to agree many things in the US, many rounds. I mean, the last round of the US Senate and the House of Representatives meeting will be in August, September, after September election time. See, now October and November 3rd is the election, the same thing. So, the election time. So, you will have to do, and once if this deal is not finally signed during my time, don't expect this to happen, because Democrats are having lot of questions about this particular deal, because India is getting everything. India is not signing NPT, India is not giving up the weapons, and you can have weapons still, the deal, there is a civilian nuclear deal. That is what they were saying. So, George W. Bush, when he rang up, once again Dr. Manmohan Singh suddenly woke up. He immediately went to his mentor Sonia Gandhi and told, Madam, what is this? And I have signed, with great difficulty I have made Americans to agree on this kind of a deal, and now things are not moving forward, left parties are not allowing me to move forward. What is your stand? If you don't want to support me, I am resigning. Dr. Manmohan Singh threatened to resign. When Manmohan Singh threatened to resign, Sonia Gandhi swung into action. They said, Congress declared that we are going ahead with the deal. When Congress declared that we are going ahead with the deal, left parties withdrew support from the government, 58 MPs withdrew support. So, there was a no confidence motion in the House, and there was a lot of drama at that time, and cash for vote. I mean, some opposition members were offered money, some of the BJP MPs were purchased, so many drama took place. It was not a good thing to talk about. A lot of corruption, in the sense members were offered money by the government and things like that. Ultimately, left withdrew. Samajwadi Party came into the support of Samajwadi Party was not part of the government at that time. They came in support of the government. They supported, left withdrew, Manmohan Singh government survived, and the moment it was survived, Manmohan Singh declared that we are signing the 123 agreement, but before signing we had to have, so in August second week, the no confidence motion, or rather the Manmohan Singh survived the no confidence motion, that is 2008, August 2008, he survived the no confidence motion. Now, immediately in third week of August, India IAEA agreement was signed, because once we moved ahead, we were not moving ahead because there is no consensus in India. The government was about to collapse, so government did not collapse, and India IAEA agreement, the third week India IAEA agreement, and in that agreement it was agreed that IAEA will inspect only the civilian facilities of India, and IAEA will inspect, so IAEA will inspect civilian facilities, IAEA will inspect the civilian facilities. Then India will decide in that, since the US was behind this, it is very easy for India. India said India will decide which facilities to inspect. Then India has been given 14 and 8 at that time, 14 to be inspected, 8 no inspection, because that is weapon program, the weapon facilities. In India, no inspection, and it is also said that India can change the facility. I mean, if some of them are weapon facility today, if India wants, India may switch over a weapon facility to civilian and civilian to weapon. That is our choice. We have even said that if required, India may change and switch the facilities. All freedom to India was given. India will decide when to start the inspection. Everything was said. So India IAEA deal was signed in third week of August 2008. Okay, India IAEA agreement was in the third week. Then came the last hurdle, or the next hurdle is the NSG exemption to India. NSG exemption. India is not a member of NSG, but the NSG is a club created by US to stop cooperation with India. So the US moved a resolution, that was in September. In September, the next available meeting of NSG was only in September. On September 23rd, I think, 2008, the NSG meeting took place, and in that NSG meeting, India, when US was going to the NSG meeting, India is not a member, so India cannot go there. The US was moving the India knew that a Henry J. Hyde Act type conditions may come in NSG, because we need the NSG should cooperate with India even though India has not signed NPT. That's what it is required. So India told the US even before they went, this waiver, they should waive the condition. The waiver should be clean and unconditional. The waiver, that means India should be waived off from any regulation. India should be given a clean and unconditional waiver as far as the nuclear cooperation with the NSG members are concerned. Some of the smaller countries, New Zealand, Austria, Netherlands, such countries opposed, and they said that we can give a waiver, but India should give some commitment about in a nuclear test. India should give a commitment saying that we will not conduct a test or something similar to the Henry J. Hyde Act. India already told the US, please, such conditions may come, don't agree, we need a clean and unconditional waiver. And China supported these smaller countries. US President at that time, George W. Bush, spoke to the Chinese President one day before the voting. And they spoke, kya bola, humko nahi pata. But next day, in the NSG meeting, Chinese representative was absent. Pet kharab ho gaya hoga. Okay, so the Chinese representative did not participate, and the resolution was passed unanimously, saying that India is given a clean and unconditional waiver. That means NSG countries can cooperate with India in the nuclear field even if India has not signed NPT. So NSG gave an exemption in September. That waiver is NSG countries can cooperate with India in the nuclear field even if India has not signed NPT. So that is a big victory, and we celebrated, the whole country celebrated. Both लोगों समझ में नहीं आया, but we all celebrated, and that was the time when there was a Hindi movie was there, Singh is King. So that movie and song was there at that time. Okay, and the whole news channels, everybody played that music for Dr. Manmohan Singh, because Dr. Manmohan Singh became the king because NSG gave this exemption. NSG gave the exemption saying that the NSG countries can cooperate with India even if India has not signed NPT. That's September 23rd. Dr. Manmohan Singh immediately planned a visit to US to be there on 1st October because there is no time, because the last meeting of the US Parliament is going to be held before the election in the last week of September, maybe latest by first week of October, not more than that. So he arranged a meeting for 1st of October 2008 in US, but unfortunately the US Congress had some other problems. They were fighting. This Indo-US nuclear deal was not, the 123 agreement was not approved by the US Congress when Dr. Manmohan Singh was in New York or in Washington. He went and he came back. But finally the US Congress approved it by first week of October. And Pranab Mukherjee, the foreign minister at that time, he was asked to go to New York immediately or Washington immediately. On 10th of October 2008, this 123 agreement was signed between the then the foreign minister Pranab Mukherjee. Subsequently, he became the President of India. He is no more right now, you know it very well. And the US Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice, the Secretary of State at that time, the Foreign Minister of US at that time, Condoleezza Rice, and Pranab Mukherjee signed the 123 agreement, and the Indo-US nuclear deal was signed on 10th of October in US, and by that time already it was 11th of October in India. That is why some people say on 10th 11th October. It is not that 2 days we signed, only 1 day we signed. It was 10th October in US and it was already 11th October in India. The Indo-US nuclear deal, the 123 agreement was finally signed by Pranab Mukherjee, the Foreign Minister of India at that time, and Condoleezza Rice, the Foreign Secretary of US at that time. And that is a watershed in India's history. You know, we talk about 1973 Keshavan Bharati case as a watershed in the Indian legal history. In Indian foreign policy, or rather in India's external relation, 2-3 big moments are there. One is the 1971 war, which we won against Pakistan. We defeated Pakistan in 1971, December 16th. Pakistan surrendered. That is one. 1974 Pokhran, the nuclear test, another big moment in India's history, because we defied the whole world and conducted a nuclear test. Then this 18th July 2005, or we can say the 10th October 2008, whatever you want to say, this nuclear deal which we finally signed, it is a watershed in India's history, India's foreign policy, and it is India's diplomacy, and it has completely changed India's image and the narrative in the rest of the world. After 2005, we should talk about India's foreign policy after 2005 and before 2000, pre-Indo-US nuclear deal and post-Indo-US nuclear deal. India has been taken to a next level through this agreement. So now the question, if India wants to withdraw, will India, see, naturally these are all, India wants to withdraw is a small thing, naturally India will not be, but the provision is there that India may have to pay compensation if India withdraws also. Anyway, so that is how Indo-US nuclear deal was signed. Now the question asked is, why the US signed this deal and what India gained and what US gained. Okay, the next question is benefits for India. So this is a watershed. Nobody, see, now whatever you claim, and the claims are subsequent, but the kind of achievement which we got, what we achieved is something unimaginable, something we cannot compare. So what are the benefits for India? Number one, the first benefit for India is India did not sign NPT. First of all, we didn't sign NPT. Then we are keeping, and we are allowed to have weapons. So we are allowed to have weapons. But then we can have civilian cooperation with the US. Even then, civilian cooperation. That means the entire nuclear, in the entire nuclear field, we are allowed to have cooperation. So, the civilian cooperation is allowed. We have civilian cooperation. That means the entire nuclear technology, right from nuclear fuel management to waste disposal, everywhere we can have cooperation. We are having nuclear weapon and we are not signing NPT. So our weapons got legitimized. Okay, the biggest thing about the Indo-US nuclear deal is our weapons got legitimized. Our weapons are recognized, legitimized. See, there is a huge difference between an unlicensed gun and a licensed gun. Now we have a licensed gun, the nuclear weapon with us, unimaginable till the other day. Now the US says, yes, you can have weapon, and now we can say with this deal, India has become the unofficial 6th nuclear weapon state of the world. With this deal, India has become the 6th nuclear weapon state of the world. Obviously, only 5 nuclear weapon states as per the official record of the NPT, only 5. Because that condition was that only those countries who conduct the test before 1st January 1967 can be declared as a weapon state. But now that date cannot be changed unless otherwise we become too big to change the date. Otherwise, India has become the 6th weapon state without signing NPT. We are outside NPT even now. We were the nuclear rebels. And US was always insisting, the rest of the world was always insisting that you come. So we have settled the nuclear issue, or rather we have entered the NPT through back door. We can say by signing this deal, India joined NPT, India joined NPT through back door. Okay. India joined NPT through back door, and don't say that India is struggling with membership of NSG. We don't want NSG membership. यार उसे क्या करना है? NSG is a club, and the US said that we will make you. See, in NSG condition is all 47 countries should agree. Then only you will get a new membership. But we got all exemption. We can deal with any country in NSG. NSG membership would not have made any difference. See, NSG. You can enter into NSG only if all the members agree. Even one member disagree, you may not be able to join a new fellow. So China, we don't have a good relation with China. So now China opposed it subsequently. That is why India's entry into NSG is blocked right now. That is not a struggle. Please don't worry. The rest of the countries are all agreeing that India can be joined. So China, our relationship with China is not good. China can block. Why? Because even one member can block. That is why India's entry into NSG has been stopped right now. Anyway, don't confuse about all this. This is a big achievement. तुमको यही problem है, सारा achieve हो गया तो बोले लेकिन सर मेरा उंगली में दर्द है. अरे यार तुम्हारी उंगली में दर्द है, मान लिया. But think the bigger picture. The bigger picture is India has been recognized as a weapon state through backdoor. I mean, we have joined NPT through backdoor, we can say. Otherwise, we cannot join. We have joined NPT literally as a weapon state. We have not joined, but it is as good as joining the weapons. And please remember, till this point, under IAEA, there were only two types of countries. One, weapon states. Weapon states, no inspection in their nuclear, facility. Then non-weapon state. Non-weapon state. In the non-weapon state, there will be full inspection. So if you are a non-weapon state, IAEA will inspect, full inspection. You have to keep record of your nuclear fuel, your activity. The IAEA can visit any time, and you have no choice. Any nuclear facility you are planning, you should report to the IAEA. IAEA will come and inspect. Now with this deal, IAEA has a third type called India. In India's case, what IAEA can do? IAEA can inspect only those facilities which are told to be inspected by India. India will have two types, one the civilian and the other weapon facility. Weapon, no inspection. Civilian, IAEA can inspect, but again, even the civilian facility, India will tell where to inspect, when to inspect, everything. So a third category has been created under the IAEA right now, that is India, and the only member of the third category is India, where India will tell when to inspect and where to inspect. So it is a big achievement for India. That is number one. So legitimizing our weapon, which was unthinkable till that day we got the deal. That is number one. Then next point is, India had a serious shortage of fuel, uranium. See, India has a serious shortage of uranium. There is no fuel. Okay, there is no fuel with India, meaning we don't have uranium in our soil. Only some uranium in Jharkhand, Jadugoda, a couple of Bhatin, a couple of facilities are there. In Andhra Pradesh also a couple of mines are there. In Meghalaya a couple of mines are there. But the availability of uranium is extremely low. So we were struggling to have nuclear fuel. So because of the lack of fuel, most of the reactors in India were working at almost 50% capacity during that time. because there is no fuel available with us. So, with this deal, India can import uranium from any of these NSG countries. There is no restriction. So, you can imagine what happened was that when Manmohan Singh visited US in 2008 on for that 1st of October to sign the agreement, when the US Congress was not ready by that time, Manmohan Singh had to come back. He decided to come back. He had a stopover in France. While coming back to India on 1st October, he had a stopover in Paris. And we signed, since we already had, please remember September 23rd, NSG exemption is already there. Manmohan Singh was coming back from US to India. He had a stopover in Paris, and in Paris on 1st of October, he signed the first nuclear deal. Even before we could sign a deal with US, which was signed only on 10th, the first nuclear deal after the NSG exemption was with France. India-France nuclear deal was on 1st October. See, and even before Dr. Manmohan Singh reached India, one plane aircraft full nuclear fuel bundles were reached Hyderabad, where the nuclear fuel complex is located. India's nuclear fuel complex, where the nuclear fuel is arranged and bundled. One aircraft full of nuclear bundles or nuclear fuel bundle reached Hyderabad. You can imagine the amount of desperation where we were having in having fuel from outside, because India has no uranium mine or very little uranium mine in India. And not only we signed an agreement with France, you can imagine in that year itself, France was on, I said 1st October, and 10th October we signed a nuclear deal with USA. Then in December, in 2008, we signed an agreement with Russia and to import 2,000 tons of fuel. And then in January 26, we invited the Kazakhstan's president at that time, Kazakh President Nursultan Nazarbayev, as the chief guest of the Republic Day parade. We invited Kazakhstan's president, 26th of Jan, and we showed all the parade and everything, all all facilities and our might of the weapons and everything. But our nazar was on the fuel, because Kazakhstan has one of the largest nuclear reserves in the world. See, 3 countries in the world can claim to have maximum uranium deposits. One is Canada, another is Australia, and another is Kazakhstan. So, we signed an agreement for supplying 120 tons of fuel every year from Kazakhstan. In 2009 January we signed, then the election time was there. After the elections, in 2009 itself, we signed nuclear agreement with Namibia, one of the best quality fuel in the world. In Liberia, we have signed agreement with Argentina, South Korea, even Canada. Subsequently, we have signed agreement with Australia. We even signed with Japan nuclear deal with all these countries, because now we are not having any problem in the nuclear fuel supply for our civilian program. All these under the civilian program, we cannot divert it for the weapon program. So, the Indian fuel, the Indian uranium which is available in India, what we are extracting from in Jharkhand, near Jamshedpur, that Jadugoda and other facilities, we can use it for the weapon if required. So, our weapon facility has been, or rather the nuclear fuel shortage has been taken care by this deal, a big achievement for India. And the number 3 achievement for India is, we have nuclear technology, absolutely no doubt. We have technology, but not the best technology. Our technology is dependent upon what we got from the Western world till 1974. Till what we got till 1974 we have. After that, we are cut off from the rest of the world as far as the nuclear technology is concerned, and the nuclear supplier group came into picture. So whatever technology we have, it is from that time. Subsequently, the world has moved when the new technologies have come, bigger reactors have come. See, the European pressurized reactors and all, it is of almost I think almost 2000 megawatt capacity. Okay, not entirely 2000, I think 1600, sorry, 1600 megawatt capacity. We are talking about our reactors at the capacity of 200, 220 megawatt, now 500 we are talking, but otherwise European pressurized reactor. Then there is a new reactor called light water reactors in Russia and all. So many new technologies have come, new facilities have come, new safety norms have come. So now we may have the technology, but with this deal, India can have access to such newer and better technologies. Okay, with this deal, India can have access to newer and better technologies. So that is another big achievement. And most importantly, so we have fuel facility, we can get the technology facility, we got the legitimacy. And the last point I would like to say, what are the benefit for India? India was always seen as a nuclear or a rebel. We were seen as a rebel when compared to the rest of the, see, if 193 countries are there in the world, only 5 has not signed NPT, 5 not signed. That means, the rest of the people, what will they say? Suppose in a class of 200 people, if 195 people say something and 5 of them stand up and say, sir, oh, theek nahi hai. Suppose you say, what I am teaching is not good, not correct. If 195 says yes, and only 5 people say, sir, theek nahi hai aap. So what will you say? You will say, oh, that 5 should go out. They will not be respected. Why? Because the vast majority, 195 people are saying something, just 5 people are saying something else. That was the situation for India. So we was always seen as a rebel, and the rest of the world was not agreeing our Indian argument. India was saying NPT is a discriminatory treaty, so we will not sign. But that argument was not agreed by any of the rest of the countries in the world except Pakistan and all. So through this deal we could rectify that problem, or rather we have that rebel tag has gone. We have settled our matter in the nuclear field with the rest of the world, and this will help India. This will help India in future, especially when we are talking about India trying to get a UN Security Council permanent seat and all. Okay, when we are trying to get a seat in the UN Security Council as a permanent member, this settlement will help, because when the rest of the countries look at our track record, they will say, oh, there was a track record of rebellion against the world order, but now India has settled that also. So it will help India in settling, even getting a UN Security Council permanent seat whenever there is an expansion of the UN Security Council. Right now nothing is there, but that can help India in that also. Okay, so what is the benefit for US? Now what is the benefit for India? We have seen that. I will be talking in the next class. See, now what I will be doing is I will continue with this. Tomorrow also I will take a live session and I finish this Indo-US nuclear deal and other aspects of the Indo-US deal. Okay, Indo-US relations I will be completing, and I will talk about the rest of the things. So LWR, light water reactor. Okay, so Pakistan has no such a